This is episode 4 of Hindsight the Podcast. Today, Eric and I will be conversing with a veteran who served 20 years with the United States Army in the supply and logistics industry before retiring. Welcome to a conversation with Patience Andrews.
All right, y'all. So we got Patience Andrews with us. So, Patience, I've had you on speed dial for the last 3 or 4 months, but why don't you tell everybody else what you've been up to and what you're working on?
Hey everyone, my name is Patience Andrews. For the last few months, I have been doing real estate, real estate, real estate. Oh my God, it's so demanding right now in these past few months. I don't know where people have received all this COVID money, but they can bring it on because it's making a lot of us agents very, very happy. So that's what I've been doing the past few months.
Nice. Yeah. So, so everybody knows, Patience helped me get into my home now. So I think, we've had our feet wet for about a week, but it was a lot of trial and error with the market the way that it currently is. But I'm forever grateful. But not only that, Patience and I we met in the military in the Army along with Lee, and that's
Mhm.
where we worked. So kind of tell us how you got into being a real estate agent.
Okay, so when I got ready to retire out of the army, I was like baffled on what in the world am I going to do. I came into the army at 18 years old and retired, 20 years. Like that's all you know. When you come in as a kid, you're still a kid when you're 18. So when you come in at that and then you're programmed into this for 20 years, you don't have to know what to wear, anything like that. And you're just programmed. I'm like, okay, so I mean, I got my college degree in the army and everything, but still, I didn't have a skill set of what am I going to do? What do I like to do? All I know is this. And so I had another good friend when I was getting ready to get out because I was picking other veterans' brains about what are they doing? What are they doing out of the military? So I picked her brain and she's like, girl, so I'm in real estate. And I've been doing it for some months, and like the money's like really good. And I'm like, oh, I like money. So I mean, I knew that I would be retiring out and still, have my retirement and disability. But other sources of income is always very good to have. So she helped me. She guided me through what to do to get my license, and she kind of trained me up, and I started there. And once I got that first paycheck, I'm like, oh, yep, this is the one.
I joined the Army at 18, not knowing what I wanted to do with my life. But
Right.
even when I was transitioning and getting out, I was still like, dang, what am I going to do?
Right, right. Yeah, it's very difficult. It's a very mind-boggling thing.
So you said you started when you were 18 and you retired out. How did it feel? Like what made it real when it became time for you to get out of the army? Like how did that feel for you?
So making it really started to hit me, when that 20 years is coming because I knew I wasn't going to do any more than that because, being a wife and a mother and, a lot of those things were taken away from me and I had to kind of balance life a lot with that. So when it came to that time and I knew I was getting out, I'm like, okay, this is real. This is happening. What do I need to do to transition myself out? And I started, I did the little transitioning classes that they give you on post with the resume classes and bringing people in to try to tell you this and that or whatnot. And but in my mind, I still needed to like pick other veterans' brains to see what actually was working for people, and if I wanted to just do the college and then I thought about college. I'm like, nope, I have a degree already. I'm not going through that again. All them papers and all that stuff. I need a
Mhm.
skill set. I wanted something with a skill or either a license. So that's what I set myself up to do when I got ready to transition.
So, how long have you been a real estate agent now?
So I got my license now. I got it in 2017. So yeah, since 2017, I've had my license. So it's actually about time to renew it again. Yeah, because it's every 5 years. Yeah.
So with so since 2017, what's been the biggest learning hurdle in your industry?
I would say just patience, like my name, seriously. The dealing with people can be very, very difficult and it can bring you down sometimes, and you like doubt yourself sometimes because people are like can be very rude and obnoxious and they change your mind and then they have you running around all over the place and then change their mind and or go with some, oh, I'm just gonna go with my cousin because or whatever, it's all kind of obstacles and hurdles you go through and jump through, but you just learn the patience. You learn to just listen and just keep moving along, learning, reading, learning people. And that's just how I get through it.
Did anything that you learned in the Army help you prepare for this career
Oh,
change?
definitely, definitely. The discipline, the leadership, the integrity, that we learn in the military, all of those different aspects that we went through in the Army definitely led me to be the person that I am now. Even like my communication skills, speaking, and like I was telling Eric earlier one time that I don't say all the ums and the ahs and when I'm speaking because I can speak very fluently because I've been a leader and I teach and I talk to people all the time. So I keep like those things out of my vocabulary and I learn vocabulary all the time because I read a lot.
How was it though transitioning out? Like how was that process?
It wasn't too bad, like I said before, the mindset that I was thinking of, like, what am I gonna do? I don't really have a skill yet. I have a degree in business. I've done the logistics my entire military career, and I mean that is a skill I would say per se, but I just didn't know. I'm like, what am I gonna do? That's all I know. I'm getting out after 20 years, and I've just didn't know. And the transition, like I said, I did the classes and I did the all the things and picking people's brains and everything. And it was nerve wracking. It was scary. It was like I'm talking to my husband like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Am I just gonna go to college? Am I gonna what are we gonna do here? I mean, we're gonna still be, financially okay, but it's a very mind boggling thing. And some people really get trapped in that because when you are in the military for that long, like I said, and you're programmed, some people don't know how to let go of that. Yeah, you don't know how to let go of that. And that's why you have people stay in 30 years, 35 years, because they don't know what else to do. Yeah, they have no mindset of what do I do? I have to stay here. That's all I got.
So you had three kids
Right,
in school as you were transitioning out. So what
right,
was your
right.
thought process? Kind of taking care of them.
Well, so I had my older two very young when I was in the military. I had them or whatnot. So I knew when 20 years came that they would be out of high school. One was going to be out and one was going to be graduating. So they weren't too much of my concern. And then I had the baby, which was, he was 8 at the time. And so I just kind of just wanted to make sure that he was taken care of because when we're in the military we have the health care and we got the money, we can run him to the doctors and all that stuff anytime that we want to. And my biggest concern was just financially to be able to take care of him and to be able to provide the medical and dental and all that things that he will still need, which I was able to do because of being retired. Yeah, and also with the disability that I have, my children, my older two, were able to go to college for free also. So that was a very good thing that happened for that. And I told them, y'all lucky because I had to pay for my college.
So how did you find out about that support
So,
network?
like, yeah, just picking veterans' brains and researching. And then I did have a VA representative that was working with me before I transitioned out. And he gave me all the ins and outs of like, this is what you get when you get this amount of disability. This is what you get if you got that. Your kids go to school for free, they get tuition and books and stipends and all this different things. So I really like picked a lot of people's brains to get that info.
So a couple of times here you've touched on one key point, which is networking. So networking
Right,
as you're transitioning and you being in real estate, continuing to network and get your name out there. So
right.
what tools are you using to establish that?
The tools that I use again are like my communication skills. I'm a very people oriented person. I love people. I love helping people. And I've always been like that. And even in the military, I was like the nice sergeant, whatnot. And they was like, you could never be a drill sergeant or nothing like that because you're too nice. And I was like, no, well, whatever. But yeah, I just use those same tools of like keeping myself abreast of knowledge. Reading and communication is very key point of, in anything that you do in life. Even when I was training people and everything, it's the same thing. Everything comes down to communication.
So what's your favorite book?
My favorite book, I would say, is "You." I Am a Badass.
What
All
is
right.
that about?
It's just, it's about not doubting yourself, that you can do anything that you put your mind to, and just keeping yourself, like I said before, abreast and knowledgeable about everything. Reading, keeping your vocabulary together, learning people, learning their characteristics, learning what people think and stuff, and how to like trigger certain things or whatnot. But most of all, just knowing that you can do whatever you want to do if you put your mind to it, and you be persistent and don't let anybody stop.
So I'm gonna dig deep a little bit. What led you to read that book specifically, and then what was the biggest? And you just named a bunch of them, but what was the biggest takeaway?
Okay, so yeah, someone did suggest the book to me. I was in a woman's group that we supported each other with reading and reading different books. And my husband is a very thorough reader and everything. And so when he was reading, it kind of like made me want to read and stuff. Even though I'm not a reader, I do a lot of audibles, but that particular book kind of stand out for me. And the takeaway from it was just like I said, just I can be a badass, out of the military and still be that powering female that people look up to and want to be and all of that stuff. I can be that person. And that's what that book really kind of entails and lets you believe.
So would you
So
say that your women's group kind of helped you find your sense of grounding once you left the military?
Yeah, yeah,
And how did
exactly.
that work out?
It worked out very well because, being with more empowering women and like minded individuals, anytime you surround yourself with people like that, that's who you are. You are who you hang around. You hang around bums and you're going to be a bum too. Hang around wealthy people, then eventually, you're going to be wealthy and everything too. So who are you surround yourself around? It's very empowering to be around those type of women.
some of the other things that you pursued once you got out of the military. So one in particular is your fitness goals.
Right,
So I know you entered into a competition, and
right.
tell us about that whole experience.
Okay, so when I did get out, I was like, remember I told you I wasn't gonna do traditional college. So I was like, I need some kind of skill, and I knew I really like when I was still in my last tour of the military. I went to Guantanamo Bay and I deployed for 400 days away from my family. And when I was there, I was in the best shape of my life. I did CrossFit and I was running and doing PT and we were doing football and all kinds of things. And then I got around some guys and girls that were like really into fitness and everything too. And I actually kind of started over there watching like all these individuals because they did the MWR, let them do a competition there too. It's like, I'm like, man, that's so very intriguing. And I'm like over here, like in shape too. And like, I wasn't going to do it over there, but I didn't because I still wasn't quite ready for me. I didn't think. But when I came back, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna like continue with my fitness and I'm gonna like do that. That's gonna be like a bucket list. I'm gonna do it. But when I did transition out, I wasn't gonna do traditional college. So another veteran friend of mine told me about this certification to become a personal trainer. Like, maybe I can do that or whatever. It's like, and she was like, okay, so you get the GI Bill and then you get the BAH and all that stuff. So, like I told you, I like money. It's like, I was like, if it's easy, I can probably do it. So I went to the school just intentionally to get like the BAH and the money. But then when I was there, it was very intriguing. I'm like, oh man, people look up to me. I'm a people person. And then I've always had females like, girl, how you had 3 kids and you still look like that? And all this stuff. So I was like, okay, maybe I can do this or whatnot. And so I got all the certification. I had a NASM certification, which is one of the highest certifications for personal training. And I did that, and I started training people for a little while, and yeah, it was great.
So how was the tell us about the competition that you got into?
Oh
I know
yeah.
it's one in
Oh
particular, right?
yeah. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, with that, I said, okay. One of the guys that was in the class, he had done the class previously, and he was training males and females to do competition shows, and I knew him very well already. So I hit him up. I was like, hey. I think I want to do this. I think I want to do a competition. It's like a bucket list thing for me. So I want to do it. And he's like, all right, okay, all right, I'll train you up for it. Here's what I'll do, this and that or whatnot. So he got me ready for it, and he helped me like do the food. He helped me do every single down to the detail. And so when I did it, I I was doing the food, I was drinking the water, and I was doing this, and like I would do like weekly check-ins with him and everything. And like I kept looking at myself. I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna be ready for this. I'm like, I don't see the changes. I was sending him the pictures every week, but he was seeing the changes because that's what he does. He know everything. But I'm telling you, by the time that 12th week was there and I was done, and the morning that I woke up for the competition, the way my body looked, I was like, oh my God, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that the body could do that certain things. And the whole time I'm sitting here looking, thinking like, oh, it's not working. It's not working. And it did. And I ended up getting like fourth place in my first time. So I placed and got a trophy and everything. So it was like really exciting. Yeah. And that really, really helped with the personal training. So once like my female friends and people saw that, like, oh, she really,
Absolutely.
so
How did it
yeah.
feel? How did it feel when you stepped on the stage? Because that's your very first competition.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that thing was the nerve. Like I said, I that was so nerve wracking. But the thing was, like, when you step on the stage and you have the music and the people in the crowd, the lights and everything are so bright you can't see the crowd. So that helps out tremendously. Yeah, because I could not see the crowd for nothing. So I was like, okay, I can't see nobody. I'm just in the bathroom by myself doing my dance or whatnot. So it was cool. It turned out cool. Yeah.
So how was it like prepping yourself to get on that stage?
Oh my God, that's the worst thing. That lifestyle is not an everyday lifestyle because the water drinking, the bland foods, the same foods, the exercising, the discipline that is taken when you want to go eat that donut or cookie or something and you can't. And it's just like it's a whole yeah, it's very mental, very, very mental. And then a lot of setbacks with that because I am a wife and mother and trying to, do that and take care of them, and they're not going to eat what I'm eating, and it was a lot,
Take
right?
us back to that moment, maybe a couple of minutes before walking on stage. Like,
Okay.
what was going through your mind?
I'm like really doing this, and because I was already like close to 40 years old, so I'm like, oh my God, I'm like in like this small ass bikini and like I'm married, I got kids, but I'm out here looking like this, and that was all the kind of things that's going through my head. And then I'm sitting here looking at all these other girls. I'm like, oh my God, look at their muscles. Do y'all have kids like me? And but then when I saw like some of the women, they had stretch marks and they had this and like C-section marks and different things, but that spray tan thing that we get kind of covers up everything. And so you're like, okay, they're the same like me. That those stuff that you kind of see on the video and the stage and the lights, it kind of misplaces that you can't see it. It's like photography, it blurs everything out. But when you're in that room with everybody and you see all the flaws and so like, oh, okay, it ain't just me. So that's all kind of all the things that were going through my head, just wondering like what were people gonna think of me and stuff and things like that. But I got through it.
I like that story.
It's funny.
No, because it's a courageous story. You know what I mean?
Right,
You went through all the training and everything, but you still absolutely have to execute when the lights come on, so to say. You
right.
know, so that's pretty cool in fourth place. So now we're gonna take that same experience and we're gonna shift it over to your first home that you're showing.
Okay,
Right. Now, I think you
okay.
said you had someone teaming up with you. Is how does that work? Did you have someone teaming up with you, or do you do it on your own? And how was that experience?
Right. Yeah. No. So you don't have anyone like, so when you get a real estate license, you have to hang yourself with a brokerage and then you go from there. But the female that I had working with me, she was already connected with this brokerage. So she was kind of like a team leader. And so she was a leader for me, and same as like being in the military, you have, your sergeants that are over the soldiers. So she was kind of over me, and she would guide me through everything because she was already there and she had done it for some years or whatnot. And so she guided me through all the contracts and everything of how I would do step by step, walking through each process. So when I did do my first sale, she was there the whole time. But what happened was she wouldn't do everything for me. She made me do every single thing. She made me like do my contract. She's like, how do you do this? How you do that? Or what I, she made me do everything so that I would learn it. She made me read line by line the contracts, made me go through each process of everything that we do when you get ready to sell homes to a client. And so when I went into the first home with those clients, it was like, okay, what do I do? How do I do this? Or whatever is like, is really happening. How do I do this? But she was so good with helping me and everything and guiding me through. And even though I had to give like some of my commission to her, it was okay because some money is good than like no money, better than no money. So, but yeah, it was that was kind of nerve wracking too. It was the same things, of things going through my head. How do I do this? Is this really for me? And I mean, and fortunately, the first clients that I have were military veterans, so it was they were easy to talk to, and
Mm.
we all had that same kind of verbiage and all that different things and stuff. So it worked out really well for my first sale.
So once you became independent, what was that first sale like? Walk us through
Ooh.
that one.
So when I became independent and I let go of like people teaching me and telling me how to do, because by the time I came independent, I can like do these contracts and walk people like the back of my hand. Because I have the personality, I have every aspect, everything to do sales and everything. I just needed to learn the processes. So once I was able to be independent and do it, I mean, I have an assistant, and that helps me out a lot too. But it's a total difference with not having to give all my money to somebody because they having to teach me all this or whatnot. So it's a very big difference of being independent and being able to run my show the way I want to run it. This is the way I want to do things or whatever. These are my marketings.
So, I mean, Kaz and I, we had the honor and the privilege of working with you, so closely. But
Hmm.
the way that your logistics background came in
Right,
and you scheduled every single tour, you knew exactly where we had to be, when we had to be there, and you knew how to communicate with the other agents, right?
right,
So it
right.
takes you back and number one, your logistics background, but
Hmm.
then number two, all of your leadership roles in schools that you've been through.
Right,
Uh, so the Army was able to provide those attributes to you.
right, right.
So with
Exactly.
that, I mean, what kind of advice would you give to up and coming agent?
Okay. So an up and coming agent, I would give them advice, especially if they don't have like a military background. whatnot, like, because like you said, I have those skills and I have that mindset of everything, communication, everything. So actually, as you say that, I was in Verizon like last weekend, and there was a 22-year-old guy in there, and he was asking me about real estate, and my guidance was to him is reading. Read, 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 read. Knowledge is power. No matter what you do, if you can read and understand something, pick people's brains, but if you can like reading is just like a key to everything. Knowledge of what people have already done and been through, or just listening to different things, podcasts, and listening to experts of everything. That's the advice that I would give to anybody that wants to up and come and do real estate, because you got to learn. You have to learn the contracts, you have to learn people, you got to learn communication if you don't have it. So that's knowledge of power. It's power. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I can definitely agree with you on that. So I think there's definitely a stigma in real estate right now with the
Hmm.
market booming with
Right.
COVID. You
Right.
have a lot of people that are just trying to jump into the market,
Right.
become
Yeah.
a real estate agent or a
Hmm.
broker just to
Hmm.
take advantage of
Hmm.
what's happening.
Right. Right.
So what advice would you give somebody that's going into it for the wrong reasons?
Right. Okay. So first of all, they can't jump in and be the broker, because you got to be an agent for 2 years before you can become a broker, and that test is totally harder than the real estate agent test or whatnot. But I would say really be sure that it's something that you want to do, because it is a mind playing game or what it is. You're not, you don't think it's gonna come easy. As as we, what I went through with you guys, it's not no easy paycheck. You have to really work and put your communication, everything in that. And yeah, people trying to run and jump into real estate like that, it's not going to happen, because you have to build. You have to even build, your referrals up. You have to build people and things up. But when it's not a game that you just, it's not a game at all. It's not anything that you can just jump in and it's just going to happen like that. So I would just really let them know, really make sure this is something that you really want to do, because just because the real estate market is booming and everything, people are still going to go with their more knowledgeable real estate agents. They're not going to just go, because people are not crazy. Sometimes people can really do this thing on their own or whatnot, and it's just that they need the real estate agents as far as the contracts and everything else is concerned. But there's people out there that do their research and they're very smart, and they'll be able to tell that when somebody doesn't know what they're doing. They'll be able to tell that real quick. So, and I'll let them know you can't just jump into something like that, because you're going to get burned to the ground. I'm telling you.
So you got a personal trainer certification.
Hmm.
You
Yoga.
got yoga. Okay. You got a real estate license.
Right.
Right. So what other were there any other pursuits that you did once you got out of the military? And more specifically, even to these, how were those training pursuits paid for?
Oh, so the personal training pursuit was paid for by the military. They used to just only do college, but now they allow you to get certifications and things or whatnot, which is very great, because a lot of times, like, so people don't want to just do college or whatever. So they did change it where you can get like all these different kind of certifications and things like that. So, and then as far as real estate, I had to pay out of pocket, because it's not really a long-term school. It takes you maybe 3 months or so to acquire all the classes and get all the certificates sent in to be able to get the state testing and everything sent down. The personal training was paid for by military and out of pocket by for real estate and the yoga.
Who's your inspiration?
Ooh, as far as like real estate or just in general?
No, just in general.
In general, it would be my mother. Yeah, my mother has molded me into the strong-willed person that I am and everything. And if y'all were to meet her, y'all be like, we are the same person. It's so funny. Yeah, everybody always says like, oh my God, it's like the same person. Seriously. Yep. And even when I brought her here and she's met like my real estate brokers and friends and everything, they really can see the person in her that made me who I am.
So, do you feel successful right now?
I honestly do. I feel like very blessed, honored, and not just because of like all these sales and stuff from COVID and all this different things. I feel successful because of my growth. I've grown so much in like the years of military guiding me certain ways, and then getting out and being the person I am from reading and from being around successful people and just aligning myself up. I really feel peaceful and successful. I honestly do.
How do you define your happiness?
My family and my children mostly. Just being grateful for what I have, because everybody is not, in good places in their life. And I always try to think of it that way. Like when something comes up and I get frustrated about it, and I'll just say, somebody else is always worse off. I put that in my head. Like I have a roof over my head, I have my children, I have my health, I have my family, and I always say, okay, okay, patience, somebody's always off work. So somebody's out there that doesn't have a roof over their head. Somebody's not eating food, or, some people, some women out there can't have children or whatever. So I feel blessed in all those different ways.
They're very inspirational, right? And that's the purpose of the podcast, right? To
Mm-hmm.
to show, even though you did logistics for your career, you did it for your entire career.
Yes, I did.
Right.
Yeah.
So even though you
Mhm.
did logistics, it doesn't mean that you're handcuffed to a logistics job once you
Right.
get out. And the purpose is, you can reinvent yourself
Mm-hmm.
once you get out, and just listening to the stories that you've provided, the fitness and in placing in your very first competition, and then doing real estate, a totally different direction. It gives I hope it gives the audience, a sense of inspiration and motivation to go out and read, right? That's one of your biggest things. Just read and learn and keep investing in yourself.
Right.
Um, but how difficult and how much time did it take for you to get your license? So just like 3 years, 2 years,
Mm-hmm.
4 months. Like how long did it
Mm-hmm.
take you to get to that point, your license?
For real estate, right?
For real estate, yes.
Okay. So yeah, you can do like online courses, or you can go into in-person school. A lot of the brokerages offer in-person schools, and then you have the online do-it-yourself pace, So I decided to do it my own pace, and just kind of guide myself through, because like I said, I'm a mother and wife and got
Hmm.
50 million other things going on. So I did the online school, and I would say it took me about 3 months to go through self guided and like complete the courses, because there's three different courses that you have to take to be able to submit those certifications to the state. And every state is different also with the certifications that they use. So I got those three certificates. And once you have those three certificates, you submit them to the state of California or whatever state you're in. And then they will make sure that everything is good to go with that. And then they send you back information saying, okay, now you are qualified to take the state exam. And that's when you can place that at your own time. So if you feel you're ready after those courses to go and take the state exam, then that's when you go and do it. And some people they'll take like other courses or get some more knowledge from other brokers and stuff just to make sure that they're ready. But all in all, it was about a good 4 months, and I was licensed and ready to go into real estate. Yeah, so
Would the military pay for the state certification or the state licensing exam? Do
Um,
you know? Or
the state, I'm not sure because it's only $65, and to take it, well, it's all well when you get your course and you complete the course, everything is entailed into that course. So if you fail the state exam, then you have to come out of pocket $65. But once you take that course, it's included one time for you to be able to take the state exam or whatnot. And then you have to get fingerprints, and you have to get the background checks and all that stuff. And that was like a couple of $100 and stuff for that. But I don't think that the military pays for that, because it's just like little out of pocket money or whatnot. It's not like a tuition type thing, you know. So
Right. Okay.
So drawing it back, so being retired, you've established your career. In hindsight, what would you tell 18-year-old patients?
Ooh, I wish somebody would have told 18-year-old patients to get in real estate at 18 years old. Because everything seems to fall back. All the wealthiest people have, real estate somehow or another that helped them to guide them to be wealthier, or whatever the case. Your Robert Kiyosaki, even, Donald Trump, all of those, all have some type of real estate going on or whatnot. And I really wish somebody would have talked to me at that age instead of Mary Kay, and tell me to do real estate.
I know
Because
that's
I'm
right.
pretty sure I would have kind of stuck with it this entire time or whatnot. But your stars are aligned different. You're just meant to do what you're supposed to do in certain time frames. So
Yeah, that's it. So,
right.
what would you tell future patients, say 10 years from now, and looking
Ooh.
back, what do you want to see?
I want to see more growth, of course, continue to grow, continue to stay positive and blessed, and continue to take care of my family and other people. And yeah, it's all about that growth. You just got to continue to grow. You're never done learning ever. You're always going to keep continuing to learn and continuing to grow.
Man, it seems like a lot of feedback. Do you hear that feedback? No one hears
I,
that. It's just
no,
me.
yeah,
Yeah, it's just
it's
you.
probably that Steelers jacket you got on.
Hey, but so Patience, it's really been a pleasure talking with you, and I appreciate you moving things around in your schedule to sit down and have a conversation with Eric and I. I also thank you for taking care of Eric and getting him close to me.
I know, and close to me too.
All in the same location, absolutely.
Right?
So if anyone, and I'm not sure if you're open to this, and that's fine, but if there was anyone who listened and they wanted to ask a question or whatever about real estate or
Hmm.
personal fitness or being a badass, whatever, right? How
Right.
could they reach out to you?
They can reach out to me by my business number, or by email, or my Facebook, Instagram, all of those different platforms.
Okay, absolutely. So I'll put those in the show notes. I just like to ask first because I don't want to put your information out. Look at
Mhm.
that. You
You are a
you are a badass.
badass.
And
She got it.
I'll put that book in there as well in the show
Yes,
notes.
do it.
I
Yes,
think I may have to go ahead and look at it and read it if I can
right.
find
I'm
it.
telling
Right.
you, it's an amazing book. Yeah.
I'm about to find it on Audible.
Right. I know.
No, hey, patience. It's been great. It's been real.
Mhm.
So one thing that's truly inspires me from you is just how down to earth you are, and how much you actually care for the people that you surround yourself with. And it's been an honor and a privilege, for you to be my agent for the last 4 or 5 months. Um, and my bad for hitting you up at 10, 11 o'clock at night with a bunch
Oh
of
no,
questions.
I told you it was no worries. There was no
Right.
worries. I told him to leave you alone. You're never a bother to me ever.
So, so yeah, with that, is there any closing remarks that you would like to tell the listeners?
Read, read, read.
That's it. I know that's right.
And you are a badass.
Oh, I love it. I love it. All righty. Hey, thanks again. It's been great catching up with you.
Oh.
And you're definitely inspiring us, even though we don't say it. So I'm saying it now out loud.
All right.
I
Thank
think I'm
you
gonna.
guys
I
so
think I'm
much.
gonna. I think I'm gonna jump in on real estate. No, I'm just playing.
Okay.
I know she
All
done
right.
motivated us.
All
Oh
right.
gosh. All
Take
right.
care now.
Thank you so much.
All right, bye, y'all.